Thank you for coming. Now, today we just finished our, because of a big GMAT class on Saturday morning. We just ended up the GMAT class, and now we have the pleasure to meet Julia. I met you in Madrid last year, Julia. Huh?
Indeed, time flies. Very nice to see you, Jennifer.
So, and basically, so Phivos. So now we have people from you're from Bulgaria, Julia, I believe. Huh? You're from Bulgaria?
No, I'm Russian originally, yeah, but I've been living in Spain for many years. So we can say I'm half Spanish by now.
Okay. And by the way, and Phivos is from Cyprus, which is really so we basically have people from the eastern part of Europe somehow, and Middle East today, which is good. Okay. By the way, so we have Kevin also who is here. Hello, Kevin. You okay? Kevin, I cannot hear you, Kevin, because are you bringing the student from class as well, Kevin? Yeah. So we have like 15 attendees, which is not too bad. And by the way, I was in class this morning, and I have 2 students who want to come because they will apply to ESADE. So Maximilian and another one. So it's good because there are also students who are in class. Hello? Hello. So basically, Kevin, you want to start to explain what we do together in Spain? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So to the audience, can you explain what we do together in Spain, Kevin? Hello, or maybe Kevin.
Yes.
Hello. First of all, how did you meet Phivos, Kevin? How did you meet Phivos?
Well, he got in touch with me a few months ago, asking for help with a certain exam that I didn't know much about, and so the only third person that I knew would be an expert on this was you. So I sent him right on to you.
Okay.
What was it? The ESADE exam. That's right.
Yeah, it was the ESADE exam, and as I told you, Kevin, is that the ESADE exam is a bit different from the other tests. So and the GMAT doesn't help at all. Okay, so people say prepare the GMAT, but it doesn't help at all. And then we did something, a very specific thing, and Phivos, as best as I could, because we don't have. I've not written a GMAT book, an ESADE test book. Even though this summer I will write an ESADE curriculum with videos, etc. Julia, so that you know. Okay, probably that will be given free of charge. Probably that people do the rest with us. So that's something that I will build. So it's part of this alternative test. And now, by the way, Phivos asked me to prepare his brother for another test, to apply to the competitor, to AI. Well, I don't know why. Now, basically, personally, I've known ESADE for a long time. You see, Julia, because as you may know, I created the World MBA Tour in 1996, and ESADE was one of our clients. Okay, so I came to visit someone called Oscar Barrio, who left probably the company a long time ago, but who was director of admission at ESADE. Okay, alors basically, so I've decided to create a new format, okay, with an accepted student and with the school at ESADE. And you, Julia, you have followed Phivos. You have been even interviewed Phivos, I believe, okay. And I tell you, Phivos, he was so motivated by ESADE. He was calling me every day. What should I do today? You know, about my exam, about his application. Can you please contact ESADE? And he was so motivated that to write to Julia, say, look, I don't know someone more motivated for ESADE than Phivos, and he's really motivated, which is very important, okay, that they don't shop around, because he applied to only one school and he wanted to go to ESADE, full stop, okay. So I can tell you the guy is motivated, okay. Phivos, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sure. So my name is Phivos Aresti. I am 22 years old from Cyprus, and right now I am in my final semester of my bachelor's in accounting and finance here in Cyprus. My work experience is in the hospitality industry and in the consumer products and retail. Recently, I have been accepted to the Masters in Innovation and Entrepreneurship at ESADE, and I have also been awarded with the Entrepreneurs Excellence Award for the September intake, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Alors, so basically, yes, so what is interesting from you is that you're also an entrepreneur, because you are involved in the family business, okay? And that's something with which we have argued a bit, because as you know, we don't know what's going to happen with this type of business. You know, Phivos, because of transportation rules, of the wars, of the COVID, of anything that can happen. But you still want to work in this thing, but you have a very specific idea that we have discussed together. Can you tell me what it is? Imaginary trips? Virtual trips?
Well, the idea is to revert the model of my business of vacation rentals and create a virtual reality tour company here in Cyprus, and then expand across Europe. So what is this virtual reality tour is basically an alternative form of traveling. You can basically travel from your comfort of your couch to any places in the world using virtual reality technology.
Well, that's the project we came up to, and that's the project that. So basically, it's the way to revamp tourism and to facilitate access to other places. Okay. Alors, Phivos, why it is? I understand that ESADE is a great school with many applicants, you imagine, but why did you find really attractive at ESADE that it was this one and not another school?
Well, it is actually not just one reason. There are many reasons why I chose ESADE. First of all, city of Barcelona is a very dynamic city with lots of startups there that I know they are approaching the university and doing multiple events. But Spain and Barcelona is also much more developed than Cyprus, so I will get international exposure with different cultures. Moreover, the exceptional curriculum and the practical approach that ESADE offers is definitely one of the reasons. And what is special about ESADE is also the Rambla of innovation, where there are labs like Decision Lab, my idea based on user behavior, and also eWorks to understand better the implementation of a business. There is also the internship innovation project that I will be able to put what I learned from the courses into practice with Spanish companies and also collaborate with engineers. And lastly is the spirit of entrepreneurship to anyone I meet there. And I know that they will support on anything that I'm going to do on any business field in the near future.
Okay, so of course it's a very good thing. Alors, Julia, the first question that I have for you is, how do you explain today's ESADE incredible success that we have students from all over the world, from, I don't know, from South America, from India, from all over Europe, even from Cyprus. So how do you explain the success of ESADE today? Okay, of course, it's a very good school, but you know where you have come up with makes you like leading in the top 10. It's impressive. How do you explain the success of ESADE today?
Wonderful, Hubert. Thank you very much for this wonderful question that gives me an opportunity to talk about the uniqueness of ESADE. I would believe that the secret, the perfect recipe for the secret is based on three main areas we strongly focus on. The first one is obviously the academic excellence. Phivos mentioned very well the excellence of the curriculum. ESADE focuses very strongly on educating and preparing our students to become future business leaders of the world, and because of that we count with a very strong faculty. Our professors are both PhDs, they are coming from companies, they have a lot of experience, expertise, they're practitioners for many years. So the academic excellence would be the first pillar of the success. The second one, ESADE is very career driven. We're not an academic institution only and uniquely. First, it's very important that our candidates success professionally, and every single one of them is defining success in a very different way. At ESADE, we have our wonderful masters in innovation and entrepreneurship. We have other masters in finance and marketing and business analytics, and students are being able to choose the career and the path. ESADE, with the prestige and with the name that we built over decades, obviously is a target school for not only entrepreneurs, but for people who are looking for a very solid corporate career. And last but not least, what makes ESADE very unique, and I'm sure that Phivos felt it during the admissions process, we take it very personally. Before I interviewed Phivos, I remember very well we first had a call to get to know him a bit better, to understand his motivations, to understand his worries. And this is what makes ESADE truly unique. It is the community that supports collaborative spirit. We really want to grow together, we want to succeed together, and we very often refer to our own community as the ESADE family. So I strongly believe that this is exactly what makes ESADE so unique.
Yes, so basically, Kevin, me, I'm French, Belgium, you're Canadian. According to you, and you have many ESADE applicants, how can you explain that you have such incredible business school in Spain? There is ESADE, there is IEC as well. You don't mind that I mentioned also the competitor. How do you explain that, Kevin? You're an educator, so.
Why we have such good business schools here in Spain?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I know that Spain is a very attractive country to study in. I mean, if I had to pick a European country to spend a year or two in, with a large economy, connections to Latin America, I mean, that leaves you with Spain, really. I mean, so I think it's a logical choice to have some good business schools. I don't know where Spain stands in terms of the size of the economy in Europe. It's not the same size as France or the UK. It's just right behind Italy. So it's probably top 5 in Europe.
Yeah.
In terms of economy size and the connections with Latin America make it a good choice.
And I would say it's with you, Kevin, as well, but I think that there's a tradition of academic excellence in Spain. Julia did not mention, but ESADE is a Jesuit school to start with. I don't know the relationship with Jesuit anymore, by the way, there must be one. But so I would say that probably, see, Kevin, probably the importance of Catholicism in this country, and whether it be for IEC and for ESADE, that have always promoted the tradition of excellence, okay, not just the Protestants. So that is a key role, and of course at the same time, well, the Spaniards have a culture of service because of tourism. Okay, so they know how to offer a good service, and as you explained with reason, the economy, number 5 economy in the Eurozone, and at the same time, of course, the climate. Okay, you live in Madrid. Julia is based in Barcelona, so of course that makes the thing attractive. But cannot just say the size of the economy or the climate, that of course, and the quality of life in Spain. You and I, you know that it's also my favorite country in Europe, and maybe after Switzerland, but basically it's we know what we're talking about. But we should never forget the quality of the academic excellence. And for instance, when I go to interview professors, etc., you have to see that a lot of the professors at ESADE, IE, or IDC are Spaniards. So basically, there's a tradition for academic excellence that has been ongoing, and there is an intellectual elite in this country. You know that I love Pedro Almodovar as a movie director, but it's something that is a bit understated, but it's true. And Spaniards, I would say, compared, for instance, to French, who are basically the same origin, who are Latin countries, are probably more practical than us. Okay, so that's why they can do They are good at business studies. The French can be a bit more theoretical in his approach, and are done years, but in the positive way of being done 2 years. You have anything to say? But yourself, you're an academic, Kevin, and you do an outstanding work. So it's you give an outstanding service in Spain. So there's academic excellence either from the Spaniards or like you will become Spaniard one day. Yeah. Yes, Kevin, you agree?
Yes, certainly, sure.
Okay, and what I can see is that they are very well educated people. So tell me, Phivos, what do you expect from this year and a half in Spain?
Sure. So first of all, waiting to first get there and see how things really are and get more ideas. I mean, I have my own idea of creating the virtual reality tour company, but of course, things can change. So I'm really looking forward to going to Spain, going to companies, going to study tours with ESADE, and explore all my options so I can create my own company, because the motivation behind this program is truly to do my own thing, because this is what I want. This is what I realized that I want from my own life, to not be in a big company, but rather start my own company. And I'm pretty sure that ESADE will definitely help me with that.
Okay, so that's what you expect. So to grow, develop, etc. Julia, why did you take Phivos?
Excuse me?
Why has ESADE decided to take Phivos? Not just for his motivation for the program.
Absolutely, absolutely. As I was telling you about what ESADE is an institution. It is very strongly connected to the to the things that we expect to get in our perfect candidate. Obviously, as you can imagine, ESADE is privileged enough to receive hundreds and thousands, I dare to say, of applications every single year for our master's programs, but we're looking for candidates that are going to be good, not only academically, the ones that are going to be very motivated and very professional, career-driven as the institution is, and also that fit on the personal level. I remember when I interviewed Phivos, he told me about all the ESADE graduates, all the ESADE alumni he talked to, which made me really feel that he was making a conscious decision. He was choosing a school not only because of its rankings and the academic curriculum, which are at the end of the day, things that you find on the surface. I really felt that he knew exactly why he was choosing ESADE, and that his values were aligned with the values of the institution. And well, I have to admit, he did quite great during his admissions process and the entrance exam. So I appreciate your support with his preparation. It went very smoothly.
Yes, it's but honestly, it was easy to prepare him. Huh? Okay, he's a good material.
He was easy to admit as well.
He was easy to admit. He was very stressed. He said, "No, but will they take me?" I said, "But people, if they don't take you, they don't." Alors, can you tell me? So basically, the way I came to meet Phivos was through the ESADE test. Okay, so can you tell me, Julia, how does it work to get admitted to your school? What do I have to do if I want to apply to ESADE and get admitted?
Absolutely. Well, now that we're living in a hybrid world, obviously everything happens remotely, everything happens online, because we work with candidates applying from every single corner of the world, and our intention is to make them feel very comfortable during their admissions process, so they can start their online applications and complete every single step without being in Barcelona or right in Spain in general. So every single candidate would start with preparing his or her online application. At this step, ESADE takes it very personally. The admissions process offers the candidate an opportunity to talk to the admissions department. Phivos was in touch with two important people at ESADE that guided him through the process. He was in touch with my colleague Anna, who was his admissions officer and who supported his application on the side of all the paperwork, right? Because in order to complete the process, there are some of the things that have to be needed. You have to submit all the documents, and those documents have be just right for what the admissions committee accepts. And then we had an opportunity to chat before he reached the stage of the admissions interview to discuss a bit his application strategy, to give him a bit of a guidance. And this is how everything starts. The next step, when the admissions committee receives the online application of the candidate, it goes through the first review stage. The candidates that successfully complete this first step of the process, they get selected for the official interview. So in case of Phivos, I interviewed him. What does it mean to complete the first step? It's not only about submitting your online application, it's also about successfully passing the entrance exam. You mentioned the ESADE's internal admissions exam. At the end of the day, we pretend to evaluate exactly the same skills: verbal, numerical, analytical capacity of the candidate, together with stress management skills and time management skills, which in a way is quite similar to the GMAT. However, we do it in a different way because our exam is not preparation based. We focus more on evaluating the current capacity of candidates applying. And well, that can get a bit tricky as well, right? Because you're facing something that you probably don't expect. But as I said, Phivos did great. So thank you very much for preparing him for this step. Then candidates get selected for the official interview stage. And this is the moment when we have a formal conversation. We connect the very last dots and we prepare the candidacy for the final review of the admissions committee. A couple of weeks later, the admissions committee meets and reviews the candidacy that we have to make the final decision that is eventually announced to the candidates. Phivos, was that correct? Was it exactly the case for you?
Yes, exactly. It was exactly the case for me.
Wonderful.
And basically, of course, Phivos decided to apply for the ESADE tests because he wanted to apply to ESADE only, and he didn't want to, there was no need to prepare the GMAT because, of course, the GMAT is a multi-school thing. Tell me, Kevin, what is the percentage of people who come for the GMAT at the GMAT classes and who finally take an alternative test, what we call an in-house test in our jargon? You have an idea of the percentage, Kevin?
I would say of the ones who actually start a GMAT course, perhaps 30% actually go and do something else. Perhaps the executive assessment test, maybe even the GRE, or the in-house test at ESADE or ESADE, or even the IE entrance exam.
I agree with you. It was funny because this morning, you know, at MBA Center, Julia, you have a study buddy. So we have a very comprehensive system. And I was asked one of my students to work with another student. And I have one very nice guy. His name is Amin. And Amin, he lost his last two study buddies because they decided to stop the GMAT preparation for something else. So one decided to go for the IE test because he wants to go to IE only. And the other one got selected, he's from Pakistan, so he got selected for a program between Pakistan and China, and he will apply to Fudan University, but they don't require the GMAT for when you apply from this program. So I said to Amin, you're unlucky for Amin because you always lose your study buddy because they decide to do an in-house test or like without the GMAT. And it's true, I agree with you, Kevin. As you know, we are pretty strong in South America, and I've noticed that a lot of my South American students, you see where we are, now they apply for programs without any GMAT. Georgetown, BU, etc., Ohio State, Penn State, etc. They accept you without the GMAT. So we see a drop, by the way, in the GMAT because many people apply without the GMAT now. Julia, why have you decided to take Phivos and to give him a scholarship? Is it that good?
Well, I'm gonna tell you the way we proceed when we come to the stage where we have to decide whether a candidate becomes eligible or not for We call it Excellence Award because we believe that this term reflects in the right way, right, the kind of scholarship that we're giving to our students. Well, the criteria at the end of the day is going to be very similar. As we said, we're always looking at the academic excellence, at the strong professional potential of our candidates, at the personal fit, but the application can be good enough to get into the program and still not be eligible for the scholarship. When I talk to my candidates, I always put them a very simple example. It's like playing football, right? The rules of the football are the same, but when you're trying to get into ESADE, you're playing your national league, you are competing against all other candidates in progress. You need to make sure that you're better than the rest, but the rest of the candidates can be good, average, not that good, right? So your goal to get admitted is to be better than the majority of the candidates applying. When you're applying for the Excellence Awards, you're only competing against the best ones that were already admitted to ESADE. So here we're playing Champions League, right? The rules are exactly the same. We're looking at this academic excellence and the professional and personal side, but the level of expectation is very high. So Phivos, I can once again only congratulate you on this achievement because your candidacy was selected among the best and the brightest that already got into the program. It's a big achievement. At ESADE, we have a very strong program of scholarships and excellence awards because our best intention in mind, as you very well said, that ESADE initially, historically speaking, is a Jesuit school, so there is certain values of supporting talent and giving candidates an opportunity to finance their studies that are at the core of the ESADE culture. So we do count with quite a strong and solid program of scholarships and awards, and we're looking for the best candidacies academically, professionally speaking, and also on the side of the personal fit to the school, on the side of the values and how the person with their own story, with their own motivation, are gonna fit into the ESADE community.
Were you happy to receive the scholarship, Phivos? You have the feeling that it's another way world for you. How did you receive this scholarship?
So I was very excited when I got the email that I received the scholarship, because it's not just the financial help that I have received. It is also a big achievement for me, and it shows me that all the hard work that I had put, not just for the application, but for my previous the previous things that I have done in my life with my entrepreneurship thing that I have done, is actually being recognized by a top university in Europe. So I was very grateful for this opportunity.
Of course, you deserve it. Kevin, what is you have an idea of GMAT classes, how students finance their studies? You have an idea or not?
Well, it's a mix of scholarships and family support.
Because, by the way, in Spain, you see, Julia, there are many foundations to get support to study abroad, which is not the case, for instance, in Belgium or in France or in Switzerland or in Italy. Okay, so there is a Banco Santander, but many organizations that support that. So I would say that when you're from Spain and you're Spaniard, you can somehow you can get support. Okay. So what happens a lot, you see, Julia, is that at Kevin's place, the name of his company is called GMAT Classes. What I notice a lot, we have a lot of students who apply for deferred MBA, also for MBA, and they come from top consulting companies. So they have the support. Many are from Bain, BCG, McKinsey. You agree, Kevin? You have many. There, usually they score pretty high on the GMAT. And they get the support from their consulting company, so that helps quite a lot. Okay. So basically, that's the question that I have. So what are the, can you explain a bit more, Julia, maybe for the people who are here? So we have many students who came here today, the different programs that they are going to apply, because so as you know, ESADE is done for the MIM program, but the way Phivos is applying for another masters. Can you please explain to us precisely the main program that you have, and also the SEMS, maybe, because people they don't know very well about the SEMS.
Absolutely, absolutely. Happy to walk our candidates through the ESADE portfolio. So we count with multiple options for master's studies, for postgraduate studies at ESADE. I'm gonna break them, I guess, in a couple of different categories so we don't get lost. The first program that we offer is our Master's in International Management. I'm starting with this one on purpose because I would say that it's probably the most generic program that we have. It's very well suited for the candidates that haven't decided yet what exact academic path to take, and they are willing to keep their doors open. This is a wonderful program that gives candidates an opportunity to keep exploring different options, different business areas. Many of the graduates after the Masters in International Management end up going into consulting. That's in a similar way gives them an opportunity to keep their options open. On the other hand, ESADE offers a multiple number of specialized masters. Among others, we have our master's degree in finance, master's degree in marketing management, master's degree in innovation entrepreneurship, the one Phivos is going to be taking, master's in business analytics, and those, as you can see, are specialized masters for the candidates that have already decided in which direction they're going to be willing to move academically and professionally speaking. All of them are very strong and unique academically and professionally speaking. Only yesterday we had a very interesting meeting with our careers department that was presenting the placement, highest percentages of placement right after graduation. We reached 99% of placement within 3 months post-graduation in the middle of quite complicated times, because our very recent class was graduating in the middle of the pandemic. So we are very proud with those career achievements. And then last but not least, I would like to mention a slightly different program, which is called Global Strategic Management. Academically speaking, it might be similar to the Masters in International Management because it is a generic program on the academic side of the experience. However, we deliver it in a very different format. It is a program in partnership with 2 other universities. So we offer students an opportunity to do 3 terms, where the first one is going to be done in the United States at McIntyre, the second term is done in China at Lingnan, and the third one is done at ESADE in Barcelona. Okay, so it's a joint program between 3 universities where students are studying and traveling to 3 different, not only campuses, not only countries, but actually 3 different continents. All of those programs were designed by ESADE to be 1 academic year master's degrees. This is not a coincidence. We've made this decision on purpose because, as you very well said, ESADE welcomes students from very different countries and also different backgrounds. And we know that the vast majority of our students are keen to start their careers. So we decided to make our programs very intense, very concentrated, very ambitious, but we want our students to be able to graduate with a master's degree in 1 academic year. However, at ESADE, we offer an opportunity to take a second year for the students that are interested in extending the duration of their programs. And there we offer different options, among others, the SEMS program that you mentioned. So SEMS, long story short, is a global international alliance of top management schools and corporate partners. It was founded decades ago. ESADE was among the 4 founding members of this global alliance, and students who are interested in taking a second year can actually apply to the SEMS program. The SEMS program adds an extra international component to the master's studies because It is a program which counts with 3 terms, out of which 1 is going to be an academic exchange, and the last term is a mandatory international internship. So for the candidates that are willing to keep traveling, keep studying outside of their home country, it's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the second year. And then there are a couple of other options. We call them double degrees, internal double degrees, meaning that you can do a second year at ESADE, choosing a second master's degree, or an external double degree that we offer in partnership with other universities. Okay.
Okay. It's so it's a very, very important thing. We have, by the way, a student who got accepted to that program. It's Fiona Coca. Remember? I sent you her contact information. Fiona Coca, she got that program.
In global strategic management.
Global strategic management, so between so University of Virginia, McIntyre.
Absolutely, very, very unique program in terms of its program structure and format. Okay. Yeah.
So, so Kevin, what are the greatest piece of advice that you would give to someone who wants to apply for this top masters? What are the do's and the don'ts? What would you say?
I think the single most important piece of advice I would give is to plan ahead. Remember that a strong application takes a long time to put together. If you have to do the GMAT and you need a high score, you probably won't get a high score in 1 month. It'll take, even for the best and brightest, at least a couple of months. And I see that a lot of my students spend 4 or 6 months on it because they're working at the same time.
And at the same time, to be pragmatic,
secondly,
if you cannot pick up the GMAT, pick up an alternative test.
Right.
Secondly, yeah.
And secondly, once you have your GMAT score or score any other test, make sure that you put a lot of thought into your application, because I think your test score just gets your application looked at. Once you have your test score, they say, okay, the academic ability is checked. You're suitable in that sense, and let's see what this candidate has to offer in terms of all the other assets: educational background, goals, work experience, character trait, leadership skills. So I would say that at that point, the GMAT score or the test score becomes almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
And that's why it's good to work with somebody who's has experience putting people through the process.
It is true. It's important. What would you say, Phivos, in terms of what recommendation would you give? Now you have your brother who is going to start. So what recommendation would you give to people willing to apply for top programs?
Sure. So I would recommend to everyone to firstly take their time, decide which university and which program suits the best for their needs. And I strongly recommend everyone to get in touch with the admission team of the university that they want to apply for. I mean, not every single university offers that, but ESADE do offer a personal call to discuss what you are looking for and what ESADE is looking for, and see if you are a match. Secondly, I would really recommend to take at least 2 months to prepare for the ESADE admission test. I'm not sure about the GMAT because I gave the ESADE admission test, and take an additional month to prepare for the essays and everything else that an application requires. And lastly, I would really recommend to everyone to get in touch with the university's alumni, because they can give you some very specific tips if you ask them about the application process, like what do I have to focus on my essays? What do I have to focus on the interview? Because they have already gone through that process, and they can be very, very, very helpful before finalizing your application.
Yes, so it's very important. Okay. Famous last word for you, Julia. So what would you recommend to people interested in ESADE? So it will be for next year, probably now. Like I have 2 students who are in class this morning who want to apply to the school. So what are the next steps, and how can they increase their chance of admissions according to you?
Absolutely. Hubert, first of all, allow me please to share with you that the candidates that are still interested in September 2022 intake are still on time. At ESADE, the admissions process is still open. We still have a couple of admission deadlines in front of us. Obviously, the clock is ticking, and obviously we sooner or later will start running out of places in some of our programs. But as Phivos was saying, if candidates really want to make it to the closest intake, September 2022, my first advice would be for them to talk to the admissions representative, reach out to the school and receive this personal guidance, right? For the admissions team to be able to give them a proper feedback to assess their preparation strategy, to guide them through the process, to help them adjust to the timings, and definitely help them prepare for this important process. I absolutely loved Phivos's piece of advice about reaching out to alumni, about reaching out to the admissions department. I believe I would like to close with an advice of not being scared of being yourself. One of the reasons, Sibel, you were asking about why we chose Phivos to join the ESADE family, is because he wasn't afraid of being himself. During his application process, we didn't feel like he was trying to give us the perfect answer that we were looking for. He told us his own story. He told us exactly about who he was, what was driving him, what were his motivations, and this would be my definitely piece of advice to all the candidates in the process. Tell your real story. Don't be afraid of being yourself when preparing your application, especially when writing motivational essays and when interacting with the school, and obviously everything else that we discussed. I'm just adding on top of everything that was already said about building a solid application, giving yourself time to write the essays, prepare for the entrance exams, and and starting this road for success.
Okay, so don't forget, for the MBA Center students and Kevin students, because we work together, that like 3 times a year we organize one-on-one. I think that Julia attended some of them, so whereby you can also interact with the school. And ESADE has so many webinars. All the schools are very active, and I also suggest, if you're not too far, that you go to visit the school, because from what I've heard, so I visited the whole campus, because I went to ESADE only once in my life. It was in 1986. So I know that from then you have moved the campus. But I suggest that you go to visit the school. Go there, and if you go there, you will see if the school is for you or not. So I wanted to thank you, everybody, Phivos. So now I'm going to take care of your brother, Julia. For information, we'll have another webinar with one of our students accepted to DMIM. She's from Switzerland. I forgot her name, but she wants to give a webinar. And it's important that we bring students from Switzerland, not just from Italy, from Spain, from Germany, from France, from lots of students. I forgot her name. She agreed to give a webinar in June. And so Kevin will be in Madrid next week to see you. And it was very nice. Thank you again, Phivos, for your time. Thank you again, Kevin, for your participation. And thank you again, Julia, to help us. Basically, the job of MBA Center is to explain to students that it's possible, okay? And I say that we are very important in this field, like Kevin does. basically you have to understand that there are many people who are before they apply, and their job is essential to give motivation, share knowledge, share experience, so that they decide to do it. Okay, and now you see Phivos brother wants to go for it because probably he's very impressed by the achievement of his older brother, and he wants to make it as well. And I see more and more brothers, sisters who do it because the older one made it, and now they say it's for me as well. So we have families now. Okay, have a good day. Thank you very much, Julia, and thank you very much.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.